New 24 Trail regular landers. It's also powered by a 24-cylinder Everlander hybrid Tacoma engine. But before you come, let's see what's going on here. Today I'm going to review the new Tacoma Hunter, and it's a new version of the Tacoma. Today's video is brought to you by Cars. Check it out at carsonlineenthusiast.com. All right, time for the Trail Hunter. Now, this is based on the brand new Overlander. I've already reviewed a regular Overlander today, 6 months ago. I'm going to focus specifically on what makes the Trail Hunter special to be paired with the other ultimate off-road version of the Tacoma, which is, of course, the brand new trim level for the Tacoma. People who like to get off, Toyota says it is the ultimate hardcore off-roading and rock crawling hunter. We begin today's Trail Hunter journey under the hood. We take a look at the powertrain. Now, all new Tacoma models have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. The outgoing turbo 4s is gone. It's all turbo 6s now. But while the base level Tacoma trims have either 2 horsepower or 80-ish horsepower, the top level Tacomas, like this one, have a hybrid, and it brings a lot more power with it. 3 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of horsepower to go with it. And now on to the equipment. So in the fucking SUV world, it's becoming common for automakers to partner with well-known aftermarket off-roader companies in order to add special features to their trucks. In this case, Toyota partnered with Toyota, which is a tremendously well-known off-roader company from Australia. Every off-roader has at least a couple of Toyota items in their rigs, and this truck has its standard from the factory, specifically the suspension. This is an EMU suspension, and Toyota says it gives the truck a little bit of a lift, 2 inches in back, but more importantly, it was specially tuned for 2 crucial factors. Number 1 is off-road control, since Overlanders aren't necessarily driving, so a big focus when figuring out the suspension tuning. Now, in this area, as you can also see, you got some pretty big tires. 3-inch all-terrain tires, great for going off-road, and you have bronze 18-inch wheels, which frankly, I'm not really a black guy, that complements the truck well. And there are a lot more upgrades to cover. From this angle, you can clearly see the circle, which dramatically aids in your river. All right, time for the most powerful aids. It's a pretty cool special feature in this version. The Trail Hunter also comes standard with steel the entire way down the side of the truck, down both doors and the rocker panels to protect the truck from aids on the trails. Up front, you have special high beams in order to illuminate the world in front of you. If, for example, you're driving on a trail late at night, trying to find a campsite, you're not sure where you are, you got all the lighting in the world to figure it out. Another Trail Hunter specific item is the shape and angle and design of the front bumper. Toyota says this is a special high clearance LED fog bumper, and of course it improves the approach angle in order to allow this to climb over more cars. Toyota says the Hunter gets the most of any Tacoma, including the TRD Pro. You have special protection up front, not stuck or hung up on any transmission. You get more stuck on any trail. The exhaust, which doesn't exit in the back of the truck like basically everything else, but instead it has an early exit before the rear axle. And the benefit there is they didn't have to figure out how to make the exhaust hit people off-roading capabilities. And next up we move on to the back of the Tacoma Hunter, where you instantly notice these red recovery hooks that are stuck onto the rear bumper. That's a cool feature to have, can be very desirable and useful when you're off-roading. Unfortunately, you do not have similar hooks. You also have this steel bumper, which is apparently shared with the TRD Toughness truck, but not here. And you still have a blind spot monitoring system, same deal. You don't have to take that out. Often the sensors are in the bumper, but in this truck, they're included from the factory steel. And next, let's talk bed, because there's a lot of cool stuff to cover in the bed, starting with maybe the coolest thing of all, this come down the sides. This is coming as well, again included with this truck from ARP, and they call it a UTI. Next up, we go into the bed where the Trail Hunter has an integrated air compressor, so you can lose it or you damage the truck. The only drawback is it takes up a surprising amount of it actually offers, but the sides are removable if you come through it, and I guess you could stick stuff on the side if you wanted to kind of keep it in place. Regardless, it certainly looks cool. I think that's the primary utility and definitely adds to the overall appearance of the truck. One other interesting exterior feature, overlanding focused, you can see there are little LED lights inside of the bed on the outside, not just on the inside. Toyota refers to this as bed lighting, and I guess the thinking is you pull up to your campsite late at night, but it's certainly an interesting feature. Next up, we go into the bed. The compressor itself is inside this panel, as you can see, labeled compressor. Then the controls for it are in this panel, compressor. Then the controls for it are in this panel above, where you adjust the actual pressure you want your tires to. And then over on the other side of the truck, there's more panel compressor tools in this panel. Specifically, I guess this is where the hose would be to actually hook it up to your tires. It's a lot of bed space taken up when most portable compressors are smaller than that. And worth pointing out, this truck also has a regular household power outlet in the bed that isn't as useful as you think. But it is here, it is nice to have the tailgate by pressing a little button that's integrated into the tail light. You push this and the tailgate it closes automatically, which is also a nice feature to have. The badge right here, and also Toyota. Now, I mentioned this badging and branding specifically because Toyota told me they're going to come out with a trail runner as well. The trail starting to find its way into a lot of different new Toyota off-road models with various places throughout the truck. You have it on the tailgate. You can see a relatively subtle Trail Hunter badge into the interior, as you might expect. You open up the door and you immediately see the floor mat, and you see Trail Hunter on the door panel along with the new cool Trail Hunter logo as well. That Toyota on the back trimmed in yellow, and there's heated and ventilated front seats along with a heated steering wheel, and directly sitting on top of that you have a dive mode button, off-road cruise control, make sure you get stuck system that really works. You also have this cool grab handle over here that's rubber lined. You can hold on to it while the driver is in the coma, hang on for dear life. Me to get behind the wheel and see how it is to drive the Trail Hunter. All right, driving the Tacoma Trail Hunter. No successful. It makes sense that they come out with another kind of companion. At the end of the day, just like the TRD Pro, I think most people will probably end up driving these on people, and so I can at least give you my thoughts there. So first things first, driving this truck, I can tell you right away the ride quality is a little rough. It is, at the end of the day, a truck. Really the situation here, it is a pretty rough truck. It's totally usable daily if you want to. It's just not going to be a luxury car. It's not going to give you any sort of like a calm, collected feeling when you get onto any sort of rough pavement. It is a reasonably rough ride. But the next thing you notice, and this is a much better thing, the powertrain is excellent. I just got done driving the new Land Cruiser, which has this powertrain. That video is already up. For some reason, this powertrain seems even more muscular in this truck. They've given it some form of exhaust tuning or something. It sounds more muscular and it feels not really good. For things first, driving this truck, not really good for. And I immediately say, well, it's a 4-cylinder. Well, it's this, well, it's that. True, I mean, all that's true, but when we actually look at the numbers, it's really kind of hard to complain. It's fast, it feels like it's fun to drive, it's quick to accelerate, mid-range power is good, passing power is good. The hybrid system, the turbocharger, really fills in the gaps, is just rougher. They are not really going to be looking for that ride quality. They're going to kind of know that, and that's going to be okay. There's a large amount of cool, but also surprising. Let's just leave it at that. It's like when a kid would install a blow-off valve in his Genesis coupe. Surprised to see it in a Tacoma from the factory, but it's there, and it does actually add to the experience a little bit. It makes it sound cooler, but it also just makes it sound a little bit less sound in normal driving. It's fine. Good driving. Drives the new 2020 Tacoma Trail. And a 4-cylinder may be controversial, but this truck delivers just like the Tacoma always has. And now it's time to give the Trail a Doug. And the Doug score is here, 50/100, which puts the Trail Hunter here against